Good day, everyone, and welcome to the Super Talk. Good day, everyone, and welcome to the Super Talks. Excited about today's show. We have two Cardinal coaches that have a legacy of excellence as football players and also track stars. So we're excited to be here with our visitors. We know that they got a lot going on with the football season, but we have Randy Bermea and Kevin Ledesma.
Welcome, you guys.
Damon, what do you think? What do you think about having these past football stars who are now on our coaching staff? I mean, that's something.
I think that it's incredible because oftentimes people take from a system, but rarely do people then come and give back. And for you all to be able to give back your skills, your knowledge to students, I think is absolutely incredible, especially where life took you while you were in high school, college, and beyond. I think it's awesome to have you all here.
So Randy, Kevin, welcome. I know that you guys are just legends in town, and I used to follow you guys. I mean, that Kevin to Randy connection, it was just y'all went deep into the playoffs, and
Yes,
I know
sir.
that there was a lot of success on the football field. So we'll start with Randy. I know that you're a coach now. You were a former player. What did you learn on the football field? And there's a lot of kids that you guys are local legends, right? So they're going to watch and they're going to say, man, there was a podcast with Randy. Right. What did you learn that you could share with those that are up and coming to perform at the level that you performed at?
Well, for me, like I have a coaching background. My dad's a coach. My family's in education. So coaching and sports was a part of my life. It's how our family bonded. It's what we talked about at Thanksgiving, Christmas, 4th of July. It was always a race to who can light the fireworks the fastest and run. Like competing was in our DNA. And then when we moved down here, when I was in elementary school, I somehow connected with this group of guys like Kevin and a bunch of us. We all played for the 6th grade youth football team, the Cardinals. And that was my first time meeting Kevin. And we ended up having about 5 or 6 guys from that team that played with us. And then taking that, when I was able to go compete at these national meets in North Carolina or in Seattle, wherever I was, I realized, like, man, I'm a kid from the Valley down here doing what people dream of doing, top 8 in the country. We're invited to these certain meets. And I was doing it because I had a coach, one of my former coaches that believed in me, when I was younger. And he gave me the confidence. I wouldn't have had that confidence by myself. It was the things that he would tell me, the practices that we'd have. And he was someone that went out and did it before. He competed at the collegiate level. And this is on the track side, but he went and competed. So I was like, man, if he can do it, a kid from down here, why not me? And it was really that he created that belief in myself that when I got to that stage, like the state stage and the regional stage, I was confident in my ability and the training we put in, and I was ready to go.
And it was serious, man. I saw some of your highlight videos, and I know that as we're speaking now, we're gonna have some showing right now. So it's some serious stuff when you look at the level of competition and winning the state championship in the 300 hurdles, and should have been first in the 100, but you hit that last hurdle and all of that. But Kevin, being a quarterback, man, that's something big, especially if you think about Harlingen football and you think about Coach Manny Gomez and you think about the success the program has had. What did it mean to you to be quarterback back in the day?
Well, basically, it's all I've ever known. My brother was a quarterback for the Harlingen Cardinals, I believe back in 04, or class of 04. And just going and being a part of that, like that legacy, the expectation of the Ledesma name. You represent the Cardinals on the front, but the last name on the back is something that you represent as well. And so you take pride in that. And I remember, they called my brother, I believe, the Savior. He had a nickname back in the day when he played McAllen and Eagle Pass and all these schools. He was a receiver that turned into quarterback, and it was just one of those things that the reason we were number 3 in our family was because he started that legacy. And so you go and you have the big shoes to fill like that. And as a freshman, I was able to go and play freshman football. As a sophomore, he was actually able to come on staff as now our offensive coordinator. But he was my quarterback's coach. And so you can almost imagine that stuff would be at the games, and then it would go home and it'd be like, hey, we're going to watch a little bit of film. We're going to do this. And the expectation was just always, greatness. It was the 9th grade, our season, and being able to have, guys like basically Randy and Daniel and all these guys that or from our graduating class come from different middle schools. I come from Vernon, Gutierrez, some guys from Memorial, and everyone just meshes together. And when we meshed together, it was something that was special. And, you know, when we played and in our sophomore season, we had guys like Max Sanchez that just set the bar high. And, you know, these guys that were just all-star quarterbacks. So Robert Sanchez is, you know, everybody that was just, you know, the bar was always high for quarterbacks. And so when you come in here and you're 5'8" and weigh about 175 pounds, it's, you know, big expectations to fill. But, you know, it was something that was just, you know, in our, I guess, our DNA, you know.
Wow. Well, there's something I want to ask you as well. I know coming through, you talk about the expectations and there was a lot of positivity around you all, but I want to talk a little bit about the haters. Because what I find is, especially when you're really great at what you're doing, there's also, too, that negative force fighting against you as well. What advice do you have, or what have you all encountered as far as with the haters that you had in high school where you still had to believe in yourself or fight for it for yourself? How did you make that happen for yourself? I think students really need to know, and people need to know, how do we shake off the haters?
Well, for me, it's one of those, it's really simple for me. If I give someone the power to affect my mood and affect the way I feel and I navigate, then they have some form of control over me. Mm-hmm. And in my mind, like, they don't know what I go through. They don't know what I go home and eat. They don't know what time I wake up. They don't know the workouts I do, the things I sacrifice. So they're just talking. It's like me talking about a sport that I don't know about. I don't know what the preparation that goes into it. So who am I to say something? So in my mind, I'm like, who are you? I respect you. You can say whatever you want to me, but at the end of the day, I know what I do, and I'll respectfully disagree with you or just look this way, you know. Right. And an example, a story I have from at the state track meet. I'm putting on my uniform, getting ready to go out there, and this is my senior year, and I'm standing next to a gentleman, and he says, Harlingen, okay, are you going to run the mile or the 2 mile? You know, and that's the perception and the depth, and I'm sitting there like, this, like, that's what the Valley's known for. That's what
right.
people think of the Valley, right? They think of, long distance runners or soccer players or something along those lines, and that for me gave me a sense of like confidence. Like, they don't know what's about to go down right now when the gun goes off. They don't know what's about to go down. So that was a little added confidence for me, or like a little like dangling that carrot in front of me. Like, I'm gonna go prove a bunch of people wrong right now. And then 10 years later, Jose Garcia does the same thing in the 100-meter dash, which is even more uncommon than the hurdles. So it's one of those things. It's happening more frequently now. You're seeing it with kids from the other side of the Valley as well. And I think that talk about the Valley not being able to do certain things is starting to simmer down a little bit.
I love that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think when you think about hating, it's one of those things that there's a level of respect that you earn, but sometimes it's not really given, right? And so when you show people that you go and you break barriers, it's going to be a little different as opposed to, you know, you're beating teams here and there, you're doing things that you're not supposed to be doing, right? But when you start to break more and more of those barriers, you start to get either people that are for you or they're against you. And so I think it's really important for our generation to know, and really the kids underneath us, and being able to, you know, just motivate these kids to push through that, is that you're going to be, you know, as successful as your mind sets it to. And if something from the outside comes and brings in, just like he said, if you let somebody affect your mood, they've already won. And so you have to really have those blinders on and know the course and stay the course and just continue to put the work in. And the work's going to talk for itself. And so, you know, it's the most humble thing that you can do, as opposed to taking social media and just kind of commenting back and forth. And it's one of those things that we just, you know, we love to prove people wrong. And I think that's something we're going to continue to do here at HCISD.
Yeah, so if you haven't seen the highlight videos, I invite you all to go on YouTube and just type their names in. Just type in Randy Bermea, type in Kevin Ledesma, and see what comes up. I was at home the other night getting ready for this, and I was checking out y'all's highlight videos, and my little boys, I have a boy that's in 4th grade and a boy that's in 6th grade, and they're like, Daddy, who's that? Right? And I'm thinking, man, it was just, you were just lighting it up, whether it was on the track or on the football field. It was just touchdown, wow. first place. And and I think for me as a dad, I'm thinking, man, how, that your parents must have been so proud, but what advice do you have for the little ones that are looking up to you guys, that know who you all are, and now you're on the coaching staff? And what advice do you have for kids that are coming up to to get to that level of performance? Because they see the performance, but they don't see what it takes to get there. So what advice do you have?
Right. So for me, it's consistency. It's you have to do something every day, and I'm big on goals, goal setting, and you got to do something daily, you got to do something weekly, and you got to do something monthly that's going to get you to where you're going to be in a year. And there's no quick remedy for getting fast. There's no quick remedy for getting strong. There's no quick remedy for getting all A's. It's putting in the work daily, a little bit a day, every week, check in. Okay, did I do this 5 things a week that I needed to do? Yes. Okay, I'm on the right track. No, I didn't. Okay, well, where did I go wrong? How can I be better next week? Right? And it's a constant reevaluation of where you were a week ago, a month ago, 3 months ago. That's going to help you like develop those patterns of success for a year, 2, 3 years down the road.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin?
I think for us, it's just trusting the process. And we have so many things that are in place here in our district, whether it be the summer workouts that we have together, the 7 through 12, sports, things like that. And just being able to be a multi-sport athlete very, very young at an early age. I mean, it really helped us become the athletes that we are and the coaches that we are, being able to understand different sports and just really put yourself out there and just develop that skill set. Rely heavily on your teammates. It's not a individual sport. A lot of the times, if there is individual sports, do the best you can. But if you have a team and you have some teammates, it's very, very great for us to be able to go and just rely on our brother or sister, whoever that we're playing with, and just trusting that process and trusting that we're going to achieve that goal together.
And that's great information. I know there's going to be students watching, so you got to set goals. I know that a lot of times you want to reach a level of high performance, but you got to make sure that you set your goals. I heard a quote from Denzel Washington. He talks about dreams without goals are just dreams and ultimately fuel disappointment. So to all those out there, just know that you got to put in the work and you can get it done so long as you're willing to work for it. So I'm glad that message came through.
Moment you knew you wanted to teach. How do we go from the state championship to the classroom? And did you ever have a moment when you went, what in the world have I done? And then have you ever had that moment when you went, now I know exactly why I'm doing this?
Mm-hmm, absolutely. So I have a very non-traditional route to teaching and coaching. Despite my family being, my dad's a coach, my mom's a teacher. My grandpa started a junior college in Eagle Pass. My grandpa was one of the first Hispanics to graduate from his high school in 1945. He was the only one of his 7 siblings to graduate high school. So education has always been a factor on my dad's side of the family and as well as my mom's side. And growing up, it's like, hey, you're going to be a coach one day. I know it. You're going to be exactly like your dad, exactly like your mom. You're going to get into coaching. And I'm over there saying, they're telling me what to do. So I'm saying, no way. I'm gonna go the business route. They're telling me one thing, I'm heading this way. You're gonna stay in school in Texas. I go to school in California, right? Like that's just how I was. You can't do this. Well, I'm gonna show you that I can, right? And then I go out in the business world and I'm in sales. So I'm, trying to get this commission levels and get to this certain thing. And I'm like, man, what am I doing? I'm driving slow to work. I'm leaving work early to get home, and I started private coaching on the side when I was in San Antonio, and I got to the point where I grew my clientele to 14 kids. On a Sunday, I coached 14 kids, and those kids became state qualifiers, getting Division I scholarships, and then my college track coach actually is the one that kind of got me my first client, and she was just like, you have this natural thing, and it's different from her because she didn't know me my whole life. She only knew me when I was in college. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'll take your advice a little bit here. And then just talking with the coaches that are on staff now, Coach Gomez, Coach Efren Albreeze, they're like, hey, man, what are you doing over there? Like, you don't have no passion in your 9-to-5 suit and tie job. And they were right because I found myself looking forward to Sundays being the best day of the week because I got to work with these kids, and create opportunities for them. They're sending me pictures. Hey, we're going to a track meet in New York, and we're going to Seattle this weekend. And that's like those opportunities were created for me because I had a coach that believed in me. So now it's like, hey, how can I help give back and create opportunities for kids, especially down here in the Valley, cut from the same cloth as these kids down here. So how can I help them do that? And then, Kevin, like Kevin talked about during COVID, Kevin and I talked a bunch. And hey, man, we got to get you down here. We got to get you down here. And it just, the right time I was looking, everything opened up the way it was supposed to. And that's when I knew, for me, it's like, I don't believe in coincidences. You know, that was a plan from the man above, and I'm exactly where I need to be. My feet, even in this moment right here, like, this is part of my plan, and I just have faith in that. So
for me, it was always, you know, just looking up to my older brother. He was the first in our family to graduate from college and become an educator and just become a professional. And so that was the plan, right? As soon as I got into high school and I saw that he was doing it, that was the plan. And you have coaches like, you know, Coach Woodall and Coach Gomez and Coach Lucio, who were so big from our, you know, the Cardinal tradition, and everyone that sees this will probably agree with that. But those guys were the ones that taught us the moment of being able to understand how to pray and be a better person and be a better man and just get through things that we didn't know about. You know, it just could have been a hard time, and the mental toughness of being a Cardinal football player helped us get through so many things. And so coming back and being able to do that for our community and be able to fill in for, you know, the Coach Lucios, the Woodalls, the Gomez, you know, all of the big names from Cardinal football coaching, and, you know, just could continue that tradition. You know, that's where, you know, you look up to that as a kid growing up and just trying to be, you know, make it out of your I guess, the situation that you're in, right? 2-bedroom house, 1-window unit, and just being able to sleep in one room, to being a coach and educator and, you know, driving a nice car and being able to just really enjoy and, like, I guess the word is just, you know, give praise to where you come from, right?
I love that. And that's one of the things that I've learned as an educator, and I've been in the game for 28 years, but I know that athletics is one of our best at-risk programs. And I know that there's a lot of kids out there that should be playing that aren't playing because of X reasons, right? They got a hard life. They just don't feel like they belong. They just don't feel like they can do it, but they have a lot of talent. And my thing is how do we get them on the team? How do we inspire kids that have talent and may not have the guidance at home or what they need at home? How do we get them on the team?
That avenue is always there. I think we have an open door policy here at HISD, really and truly. We give kids chances very often, and what they do with that chance is, that's the one thing that I will say, is if you get that chance, you got to run with it, and you really and truly have to go to one of the coaches that you see and just have like buy into their plan. You know, we're here. We're going to be able to be there at nighttime. If you're going through something, you message us, and we're going to get you through that. And at the same time, like, you know, we're more than just, you know, our 9 to 5 or, you know, whatever it is, the 7 to 5 o'clock and then office hours. We, you know, we're outside of that. And kids that are like, hey, coach, I'm going through it. Or what's going on? What can I do for you? How can I help you? You know, hey, if it's something where we can talk on Monday, then great. But if not, I'm here for you. And just understanding that avenue is always there. We always have that open door policy. Coach Gomez talks about all the time. We're like Walmart. We're open all the time, right? We're here for you. Like, it's one of those things that we just want the community to know. You know, if there's somebody out there that's listening to this that wants to join football or basketball or softball, baseball, whatever sport it is, go to that coach and just understand you got to open up and be a part of it. You know, try to be a part of that greatness.
And for me, I like the classroom part of it. I like the kids in my class that I'm like, hey, well, like, you athletic looking, you know, dude, like, what's the deal? You know, like, what do you think? Oh, well, I have to work, and, you know, my mom works this hours and I have to work at this time, or I have to pick up my kid. I have to pick up my sister, my brother. There's a lot of stuff like that, you know, when I lived in San Antonio, the kids that I worked with have no clue about that kind of situation, right? So here, real world hits our kids a little bit sooner, I think. I think it can, not all kids, right? We have a bunch of great kids as well, or kids that don't have to deal with those kinds of struggles. But it's in the hallways, walk in the halls. Hey, man, like, you want to come out to track? We got track practice next week. Sure. I had one of my students show up, sat on the fence. Nah, coach, that ain't for me. Y'all running, you running one whole time around the track? Yeah, that's the warm-up lab. You know, what about a warm-up? Oh, no, coach, I'm good. Thanks, though. And he went out. He brought his stuff, though. That's part of the battle. You know, hey, bring your shoes. You got Air Forces on? Well, I can go get you a pair of my running shoes and get out there and just try it. Just be a part of something, you know. And I think that's what helps in the classroom is once you're a part of something, it's bigger than you. Yeah. You know, whether it's a classroom community, whether it's a club or an organization. And, you know, our CTE department at Harlingen High, you know, we have our organizations and a lot of kids gravitate towards it. I saw that you got to talk with Hector about the welding. and he was one of my students in my marketing class, him and his brother ever. So their family is doing great things, and they have their organization, and our CTE program offers a lot as well, aside from the sports stuff where, hey, I need to make money like next week. So how am I going to make money next week? Well, it's through a career technology pathway instead of maybe sacrificing for early mornings and Saturdays and late Friday nights like our football kids have to do.
Right. So I hope there's a student out there that's down the fence, and you've heard from Coach Primera, you've heard from Coach Ledesma that they give second chances, third chances, opportunities. If you have a job, maybe they'll work around your schedule. All you have to do is come and ask. So if you're watching this Super Talks, you're watching it for a reason. And I hope that you take that plunge and get on that team, because we want as many kids participating to be exposed to these wonderful men and women that are going the extra mile for our students. Demond, any final thoughts, any questions for our outstanding coaches here?
Okay, I got a little something off the beaten path I want to ask you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so before we all began Super Talks today, we were talking about hidden talents. And Soup, I'm not going to give you away about the big barbecue grill and how I really am wanting some ribs, but we're going to leave that alone for right now. Okay, but we're going to revisit. But I want to know, what hidden talents do you have or hidden talent that you have that you would want people to know that they don't know that you can do?
You want to go first? You want me to go first, man?
You can go first.
I'm not
Hidden talents. Let me think. I cannot sing. That's not hidden. Anyone that's around me when I'm singing, I cannot do that. So it ain't hidden really. Man, I'm trying to think. Hidden. I try to show my talents out. Like, I don't know. If I can do it, I'm gonna do it. People are gonna know about it. If I can do something well, people are gonna know about it. I'll tell you that.
I think we just like to, really and truly spend time with our families. I think that's something that, is really not a hidden talent, but it's something that we don't really see. When you go home and you see educators go home, there's a lot of times we take our work with us. And sometimes it's important. I have a lovely wife at home and a 2-year-old son, one on the way.
Yes, sir.
And I'm extremely grateful to be able to unwind at the end of the day with my family, and just being able to be blessed with that. Has been such one of the biggest blessings in my life, and has kept me grounded and humbled as much as possible. And if there's one thing I'd like for people to know, is that I love my support system at home. Definitely.
Ooh,
awesome.
There you go. Oh, for sure.
Y'all can dance.
But it's not hidden.
That's
the thing. It's not hidden.
No, that's something. And before we go, I just want to thank you all, because I know that you put so much work into it. I think a lot of times people see you guys out on the field on Friday night lights, and they see you guys coaching, and it's like, man, I'd love to do that, but they don't see the Saturdays, they don't see the Sundays, they don't see the late nights, they don't see the 4:30 in the morning, they don't see all of that. So our kids are so blessed to have coaches like you all that are, legendary when it comes to Harlingen athletics and all that you all accomplish. So, on behalf of the school district and our board, I just want to say thank you. And as a dad, man, I'd love my children to be exposed to you guys. You all are the kind of men that I'd want my kids around, because you're a class act. And that's why we're so blessed in Harlingen CISD is we have those that are coming back and paying it forward. These are two examples of young men that grew up in our system, and we hope that you guys one time can come back, and once you've gone out into the world, that you can come back and make a difference. Damon, any closing remarks, anything for our guests, or anything for the world?
I just want to tell you all, thank you all so much for being here with us. And I want to tell everyone that if you like what you're seeing, share what you're seeing. This is not normal for school districts to have an open office, a front row seat to our superintendent. And we need to get that word out there, because we're meeting up with amazing guests like what you all are doing with our district, and astronauts and all kind of amazing stuff. So we want that HCISD message out there. And so, like and share on Facebook, like and share on YouTube. And get it out there that we're doing some really cool and different stuff out here, and we want the world to know about it.
I love that. And I was going to close right now, but I got to ask Damon, what's your hidden talent?
Yes, sir.
Talk to us, man. You asked that question. What do you got?
You ain't hiding.
I asked the questions. But if I must say, a hidden talent of mine, I don't know that a hidden talent of mine is I can kind of, sort of play the piano.
I didn't know that.
I've been known. I will shock people every now and again. I'll see a piano and I'll sit down and I'll play the little keys just for a little. I'll tease you, and then I'm like, okay, that's it.
That's all I get.
That's all you
But
get.
don't you also have a collection of cars, and don't you have a shop where you have all these cars from all over the world, and you're driving an H2 Hummer, and I saw you in this other, you got a big old motorhome, you had this other little van, and you got all kinds of cool cars, man. Is that a hidden talent, or is that just
I call them toys. That's really a hidden passion of mine.
There it is.
You know what I'm saying? Theater arts, cars and theater, both. And then also sports too. My brother was a big time football player in the state of Texas. But yeah, absolutely. So, but no, cars, I have a huge passion for that. But moreover, I have a huge passion for kids. So.
Well, that's cool to know. And my hidden talent, I'm great at fishing. So one day we get on my boat, I say we all go fishing.
Oh, let's
I think
go.
we need to do Super Talks on the water.
We need to do Super Talks on the water, and then we need to do Super Talks by the grill. Yeah. Because when I hear that you can barbecue, I want to see the skills. You feel what I'm saying? Where are the ribs?
Go out there. I take my kayak. We can go catch some fish.
I'll be waiting for the invite.
Fish and ribs.
Right.
On a half shell.
It's on.
Sounds great.
Exactly. It's on.
Hope you guys enjoyed the Super Talk. Have a wonderful afternoon.
Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.